little bleary-eyed, some people this morning, myself included. I don't know why they start games at 9:20. How many stayed up till the end? Good game. So, we bow to you.
Thank you.
Virginia won the national championship. Yeah.
It really is a crap shoot.
Where's Jim McCormack?
How did you get back so fast? How did you get back? Oh, yeah, really good game. Exciting stuff. Matt, why don't you? So we had a bracket competition, and we got some.
We did.
We got some unusual winners.
Yeah, I thought she did. Rachel. She had inside trading. She had some inside trading.
Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Rachel, first place. Our very own Allison Alec second place.
Whoa.
Jim McCarty, third place. And the lucky winner, Nancy, gets lunch with certainty.
Hey,
That's really the big winner.
Hey.
Yeah, but great tournament. Thanks for everybody that played. And it went. Could have been anybody, actually. Until the. So, cool deal.
Thank you. So, none of those people here, we'll give those out later. You have in front of you, so we go right from one tournament to another. This is free to you. You can, we've set this online, but you can fill this out when you're here if you want. So, Masters is this week. You pick one, circle one person in every group. It's your top 5 at the end of the tournament that count. Again, 150, 150 for first, second, third. And we'll send you this Thursday, so we'll send everyone's entry so you can follow it. But this is pretty good. Actually, I
think you're going to say what I was going to say.
Why don't you say?
It is really easy to look like a genius and post this on your Facebook page or somewhere else, although I did drop the prize amounts. The guys think this is the best layout they've ever seen, and they're really sports fanatics, so Brad, kudos to you. It makes me look good and have fun.
Yeah, so do the same thing with your database. Have a Masters tournament. It can be the same payout. It can be less. It can be more. Send it to your database. I would probably just the KW Atlanta Perimeter, change that and put your logo or your...
It's editable in the format you sent.
There we go. Perfect. So people love this stuff. You know, and actually you have 5 touches, send it out. You know, they have to be in by tomorrow. Well, technically Thursday morning at 7, let's say, but with your database. But you can actually every day send out to the people that are playing just an update. Jake's leading, you know, you could give a little comment, can't believe Tiger, you know. So it's 4 or 5 touches in the span of 4 days that they will welcome getting if they enter this. So,
and they forward it to their friends.
Yeah. Yeah, so use this. That's one purpose. We like that competition. What's that? No, if you're going to fill this out here, just put your name on the top. That's the key. Generally, I get 2 or 3 with no name. Just put and hand them to me at the end of sales meeting. All right. Bob. Where's Bob?
I'm right here.
Why are people crying this morning?
Why are they crying?
No, not this Bob. This Bob.
Oh. I don't believe I know.
You sent me an email about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a Dunwoody resident or you work in Dunwoody, this coming week's edition of the Dunwoody Crier is the final one.
No. Really?
Yeah. I know things. Now the owner Kevin knows as well, really well, is not doing so well health-wise, and so he's trying to get down. So
there we go. Get your last edition. It will be collectors. All right. Now this Bob, our sponsor, he got the message. We love Chick-fil-A. That's all you got to do.
Yes.
So Farmers Insurance. Bob, tell us.
I was going to start by saying you probably see my ad in the Dunwoody Crier, but that's really no one. a little bit about myself and our agency. I've been in insurance for about 20 years, mainly on the brokerage side of the business. I opened our agency 5 years ago. Right, it's a farmers insurance agency right next to Piedmont Bank. All of our business has been built through referrals and advertising marketing. I noticed a lot of friendly faces in this room, people I've worked with and talked to in the past, and probably most importantly, I've been to 3 pig roasts. So I am familiar with your organization. All I need to be able to quote any of your prospects and mine is a name, an address, and a birth date, and I can do a pre-quote that'll pull loss runs, all the kind of information you want as you're soliciting that business. So I'm here to help however I can. We write personal lines, commercial life with farmers, and I also broker some other business where we don't have that specialty. So thanks for the opportunity to be a part of this program, and available as needed. I promise you this, that I will be immediately responsive if you call and need to get a quote for a home or anything attached to that. So thank you for allowing me to be here.
I've worked with Bob, and he's done a great job for my client.
Thank you.
There we go. All right, so let's always the topic, markets. What do you think? Second week in April, these are the big 4, April, May, June, July. This office actually has been ahead of last year on all 3 months. Not to say that's the same citywide or nationwide, but we're doing very well. Thank you, Terry Cummings. Our productivity is up massive, right? Double, right? Yeah. Yep, doing great. So people are understand how to get business and are doing it in this office. So what are your thoughts? How's it feel? We're back from spring break. Stock market high, rates low. What are we? Strong? Medium?
Strong.
Nobody knows. What?
Strong.
What?
Strong.
It does feel strong. Multiple offers? No. Some. But there seems like more inventory. Okay.
Depending on the price.
Which should feel good for us in that, I've told you many times, when we get out of balance, way too many listings, way too few listings, it makes our life tougher because one side can demand things that are extreme, and to get the deal you have to do it, and it makes our clients, they have to be in risky positions that they're not comfortable with or shouldn't be in, but they have to make deals happen. So more toward the middle, more neutral market. Not to say we're neutral, but it should feel a lot better. Again, the tagline this year is every property is its own analysis, right? Right. There's no single answer to how's the market. Depending on price, location, condition, school system, it's a different answer every time. And definitely Atlanta is one of the strongest places in the country. I think if you talk to people in California, their market's drastically different than ours. Much tougher market. So, still feels good. Again, all the big factors, stock market high, rates low. We still are Linda.
I think it's a mindset. If you think your business is on fire, your business will be on fire. If you think that you're stalled and there's not enough inventory, not enough buyers, not enough whatever you think, that's what's going to be in your life. So turn your mindset on. I'm busy, I'm selling, I'm listing, and it'll happen. It's a mindset, period.
I didn't hear you. Say that one more time.
It's a mindset, period. If you don't think you have business, you're not going to have business. If you think you do, you're going to have it, period.
And that pretty much is, if you do that for business and life, I mean, that's basically bold.
It is.
It's all right here. And if you focus on it's not good or negative, it's going to be. And if you think it's positive and going, it's going to be. It's just what you see. Same example. I just turned 60. Some people my age, I hear them every day go, I'm old. Okay? Well, I notice 80-year-olds. They're looking at 40-year-olds. So I see 80-year-olds, I'm not old. Right? It's just which way you want to look at it. So, yes, you're exactly right. It's all right here. But I would say the factors for most people are still very good. There's a lot of business out there, and all the metrics that cause business are in a good place right now. Continue. Culture Committee, your week is upon us.
It is.
Yes.
This Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m., we are having the final fundraiser for Red Day. Please join us in the atrium for bourbon, barbecue, and beer. You want to say anything?
Steel.
5 to 8 p.m. Work your day, walk out the door, and come to the atrium and join us. We're going to be having barbecue from Williamson Brothers Barbecue catered. We're going to be having flights of bourbon that you can purchase. All of the proceeds go to Red Day for our veteran that we're going to be working on, his house. And then we're also going to have a local brewer that is donating. Is he donating? Yes. Donating some of his private stock beer for us to have. Woohoo! So bring your checkbooks, bring your party hats. Oh, in fact, we're going to have a photo booth with veteran-themed props so that we can snap photos of each other and post them on your Facebook page or wherever you want to post and say, my company gives back. We give where we live, and this is how we raise money. It's another good touch, really good touch. Will there be any normal beer? That is normal beer.
Better than normal beer.
There's a lot of good things about Kevin. There's many good things about Kevin, but
He doesn't drink that beer.
this is, yeah. I mean, the last 3 parties, I've made a huge effort to have really exotic foreign beer that everyone loves, and he's
Bud Light.
we're having to go in the host's refrigerator to find some Miller Lite. Just get 6. Just Linda gets 6. What do you prefer? Bud or Miller?
Me?
Yes.
Miller.
Miller.
I will make it.
Oh yeah, this is bottles or cans. Okay, because one time I had cans, that was a problem. So. Okay.
I got what's covered, honey.
There we go. Okay, and remember too, scroll through these quick, but while you're there with bourbon, barbecue, and beer, we're auctioning all this stuff.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Silent auction, you can bid on this. We got furniture, we got artwork, we got lamps, we got tables, going to the highest bidder. Remember, we're soon, most of the furniture is in, but we will be getting all new decorations and furniture and art. Actually, you will see, I'm glad, this Friday, starting, so this weekend, if you're coming in, we are tearing up the lobby. We're taking out the tile, putting in new tile, so you will have to come in just the back door, okay? And that'll be done by Monday morning, so getting kind of a new desk up there and new tile, so you'll like it. But look at these things. You should have an email, decide what you want. I know a lot of times people are looking for things for their kids in their kids' room, and or this could be
Off college stuff,
yeah, or even sometimes it's even
staging.
your church. Or I mean, this is pretty good stuff. So I would think it would go at pretty reasonable price. Okay.
All the proceeds from that go to the Red Day Fund as well.
Every
Brent
single
has donated
penny.
all of that, so please buy some things and let's get that all in the Red Day Fund.
Exactly. So let's talk leads a little bit, which at the end of the day is the total key to our business. What Linda said is correct. Mindset is huge, but also we have to come to peace and we have to come to an understanding that we are really in 2 businesses. And yes, we're in the real estate business. We are. We all got our license. We're in the real estate business, which means we have to know the real estate business, which is we got to know construction, we got to know how a house is built, we got to know land, some of us. We have to know listings, we got to know contracts, mortgages, closings, all the things, negotiation, all the things that are part of a successful real estate business. Yes, we have to know that. And the people that know that stuff the best become the most valid when they talk in public or to people, that people go, wow, Pete really knows a lot of stuff. I need him to be my agent. I need him to represent me. But what most people miss is that's really should be our second business. Our first business is creating business. We are in the lead generation business. And whether you want to admit that or not, that is the key to this business. Whether you go big or small, whether you stay in or don't, totally depends on your ability to get the business. Plain and simple. It's as much a business as once we get these people doing the business. And I think once you realize that, you'll start spending a little bit more of your time daily in that part of your business. Because even if we're the best realtor on the other side that ever lived, and we don't have people to do that with, we don't go anywhere. And obviously we're not happy and our family's not happy. So all of us it should be a big piece of what we think every day. What is our strategy daily, weekly, and monthly to create business, to create leads? It's not going to happen by accident. I promise you. This has to be a strategy that's been thought through and that we're tweaking all the time, and we analyze basically if it's working or not depending on our goals. So if Jake wants to make $200,000, we kind of work out how many deals that is. Jake works, let's just say average of 400,000, so that's 12,000 a deal. So he's going to need roughly 16 deals in a year to make 200,000. So then he determines how many people does he have to work with. Let's say how many fall out. Let's say 20 to get 16. And we need to come up with a plan that's causing 20 deals, combination buyer or seller. And we can kind of gauge, monthly is probably not a good gauge because things can vary widely monthly, but let's say quarterly. If you're at 5 at the end of the first quarter, whatever you're doing to lead gen is probably working for that number. If you have 1, no good. If you have 10, then maybe you raise your number, right?
Yes.
So, I would think, my hope is that all of you think about this regularly and have a strategy. So, Kevin, we grew up together. You've been impressive in your career, and I think you do have a strategy, correct?
I do.
Okay, so, I mean, how many things would you say are on your strategy? 1, 2, or 3? I mean, just that you are doing some daily, some weekly, some monthly.
3 very heavy, but probably 2 or 3 others are involved too.
And what would those be?
Well, Tim walked into my office yesterday and he trying to talk about getting leads, and I said, look what I'm doing right now, Tim. I'm writing a note. I'm sending over a business card to give a referral to someone else. So, all the Buffiniites, it comes down to basics: notes, calls, and pop buys. That's got to be the crux of your business. Then my other favorite thing to do.
And is there a number you're trying to do every month?
Yes.
Just quickly.
It's 15 calls a week. It's 10 notes a week, and it's 15 to 20 pop buys a month.
And do you hit that most months?
Most months.
Okay.
So I'm leaving this office right now. My favorite pop buy of the year is I go out and buy 10 Masters journals, and I'll be hitting 4 golf clients today and showing up at their office and handing them that Masters journal. And that's, to a golfer, getting anything to do with the Masters is like, Christmas morning.
So when you say journal, you mean the program that you would get if you went to the
Program,
Masters?
you can get those not at Augusta. They actually sell those at Kroger, Barnes Noble, Publix.
So these aren't random, these are people that you know are golfers that would love this. There you go. So, anything else? Those three, the notes, the pop buys?
Well, I mean, then the Touch 36, you know, they're getting something in the mail every month.
Right.
They're getting an email every month. My goal is to, you know, check in and call the top 100 once a quarter. And as I mentioned before, you know, I love doing the unexpected extra.
So, you have found that doing those things causes the business.
It'll cost. You have to trust it. In the beginning, you may think, I'm doing all this stuff and nothing's coming. But you have to be consistent.
And you found from your past activities that this does happen.
Yes.
Okay, so this is kind of a little bit of a faith walk here, right? A lot of us are used to working. So I work at McDonald's, I work the fry machine, I work an hour, here's $10. I work an hour, here's $10. I work an hour, at the end of the day I get $80. Okay? I mean that's a small mindset, but this business does not work that way. So you could do all the stuff you were talking about. You could write 10 notes, make 25 calls, and do 5 pop buys, and probably no one is going to hand you some money today, right? But you know, you've seen that these cause this business. And it's kind of magical how these spider webs work when you send this stuff out. I mean, some of the stuff you do today might come back to you in November, right? And the stuff that you did last October, you could get a call right when you walked out of here. But we found that these activities cause consistent business. Let's get someone newer. So Jeannie, you've done well in short time frame. What's your strategy? What's your mindset?
So one of the things I've been doing is farming my neighborhood, and got a great idea from Hank when I first started. And Hank, you gave out the lawn bags to your neighbors during the fall, and I just thought that was such a great idea. And I went out and I gave lawn bags with this cute little poem. And then for July 4th, I put sparklers on, I gave out sparklers. And then I sponsored the holiday lights. And then, which, guys, you can do that. It's really inexpensive. And you get to put signs out with your name and the Keller Williams logo. And it's in the neighborhood. And you can put them up for like a month before. And it's an inexpensive touch to everyone, but people like it. And then we figured out our neighborhood was more into Halloween, so I did the Halloween. And then I did a yard sale, and I was like, I only got like 6-7 people to participate. The turnout wasn't so good, but it was like the perfect yard sale, because what happened, one of my neighbors drove by and she goes, we're going to be back in a second. I was like, okay, come on over. She comes over and she goes, this is my cousin from California, and she wants to move to our neighborhood. And there's a house for sale around the corner. I said, you know what? He's a Keller Williams agent. He's in my office. I'm going to call him right now. And I went and I got on my phone and I went and we showed the house. It wasn't the right one. But from a not very successful yard sale, I now have a client who I've been staying with her for a year. And yesterday, or the day before, I noticed one of my neighbors who's been talking that he may want to sell was painting his garage. And I just had lost a FSBO in my neighborhood because I had planned to speak to them this Sunday, and on last Thursday or Friday, all of a sudden a sign went up, and I was pissed because I've been kind of talking to her, and she kept on telling me, oh, I'm not going to go with an agent, but if after a month or so it doesn't sell, then maybe I'll go. So I've been, and she went with someone. All right. So when I saw him out there painting his garage, I was like, I'm just going to go over there and talk to him. And I did, and he is thinking about selling. He does have an agent, but he has not listed it yet because he's been looking for a house for a year in Roswell. And I went into his house, walked around, called my buyer in California. We're making it that when she can come see the house. It's probably the right house for her. And hopefully all that hard work with farming that neighborhood is finally gonna start off. But I think farming a neighborhood, even if you don't live there, it's definitely something that grows because you can keep your name out in front of them. And I think a lot of it's what Kevin said, is not letting them forget you by them getting something either monthly or twice a month. So the farming's been a good part of it.
Good. So what are other signs that someone might have real estate needs coming up soon?
Dumpster in the driveway.
What's that?
They wanted one of the dumpsters
In the driveway.
start.
Right,
Start
what
seeing
else?
sheetrock and stuff like that.
Right. What else?
Landscaping.
Landscaping. What else?
Graduation.
Garage sale.
Garage sale. Right. So all we got to do is just walk up and go, hey.
Hopefully you don't say that.
Looks like you're painting. You know, I mean, that's,
Please don't do that.
what you doing? But yeah, we just noticed that stuff, right? Plain and simple. Denise, you're not brand new in the business, but newer, and you're top 5 in the office year to date, killing it, big deals. What's been your strategy all this
I'd
time?
like to say I have one, but I just
Okay, so
I let people know that I'm a realtor, just not in an obnoxious way, but I talk about it so people I play tennis with or golf with, they know I'm a realtor, and I get a lot of referrals.
How do they know that?
Excuse me?
How do they know that? How do they know you're a realtor?
Well, they might be talking about something like blah, blah, blah. I'll go, oh yeah, well that house over there, it sold, and I know because I know the agent who sold it, she's in my office, I'm an agent or something, just something that's not just obnoxious, but just so they know I'm a realtor. And then I try to make sure that I talk about, that I have the knowledge of the area and that I know what I'm talking about. But no matter what your lead generation, one thing that's really benefited me is that I follow up and I never stop. I nurture, 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 nurture. I have a lot of clients who I've literally just sent them emails and called for 2 or 3 years, and finally, oh, I'm ready to sell or whatever, and they'll say, if I didn't get your email, there are people I don't even know, hardly know. If I didn't get your emails, I wouldn't even think to call you, so thanks for following up with me. So to me, I think that's a really key part of the business.
And I'm guessing you're very, very good at follow-up. So not here's, I work $10, work $10. I've seen these things. I'm going to put in 4 hours a day doing this. I don't know how it'll come back, but it'll come back because it's happened before. Okay? So I think we really need to have a plan, a strategy. And it's different. A referral's different than a lead. I would say a referral's better than a lead, right? A referral is like
Much better.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Virginia called Bob, or Virginia was Bob. Bill said you were great. Come, I need to buy a house. So that's the ultimate. But leads are good too. So we need to come up with a plan to make that happen. And again, there's 40 known ways to sell real estate. And we have a lot of people in this office that do it a lot of different ways, okay? Apartment complexes, everybody's renting. You can befriend a bank asset manager. They trust you to turnkey the property, all the things they get back in short sale, foreclosure, you list everything. You can farm a geographical neighborhood. Somebody already said that. Again, open houses, my whole career was built on open houses. I would say if you're newer, Sunday's your top day. Plain and simple. Get good at converting buyers. I would think everyone should social network 30 minutes a day. It's really simple. It doesn't take very long. You can do it from home in your sweatpants. And you could be drinking a Miller Lite out of a bottle. So easy to do, and you're with your family while you do it. Calling, obviously, I think the key, so in all our leads, but the fastest and the furthest is, and the lowest hanging fruit is easily working a database of people that know you, like you, trust you. And you've heard a lot of people here, that's kind of what they work. And I think that is a big key, and staying in touch and staying valid. Anything, that's, you know, I mean, obviously the Masters has nothing to do with real estate, but thank you, Kevin, you know me, I like golf. Just, you know, and I'm sure is there something that says Kevin Probst, Keller Williams, I want you to give them?
There we go.
There we go. So, there you go. Thank you very much.
What are your thoughts on advertising the Dunwoody Crier?
Not a good value.
Do it quickly. Yeah, actually, Agent of this office had big success over the years with that. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, we need to come up with a strategy of what we're doing in these touches and how it works. And again, the purpose, you know, again, I would identify the top 10 and 25 people in my database that send me a lot of business. They're special people. I do extra stuff for them. I do big stuff for them. Probably the top 125, 150 are really the group that these are past clients, or these are people I know will work with me. I do. I try to call them once a quarter and hopefully try to meet with them. So the purpose of all this lead gen is, the ultimate would be I need to buy or sell, okay? But that might not happen today or even this month. The ultimate is to get a meeting, okay? If they don't have on the phone, they don't have a referral, they don't have a need, we want to meet face to face, okay? And I think a lot of people, either they can't figure out the time equation to make that work, or they just don't see the power in that. But things always happen face to face, plain and simple. So much more business happens. And if you go with good intentions and you care about people and like people, and you find out, just start out, how's Joey, how's the puppy, and you know this stuff, they will usually bring up real estate, okay? It's everyone's biggest investment. A lot of stuff happens when that happens. So if we stay valid in our touches, and I send them to you. I mean, this just came out literally on my phone. I rarely hit that little news thing. I'm not a news person. And I mean, it literally was the top 5, the 5 best airports in the world, or in the U.S., and the 5 worst. Hartsville's number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 1 airport in the U.S. and ranked on multiple categories. But I think the main thing that got us that ranking was I find it amazing, but they said 1% of the flights in our airport are canceled. 1%. That seems low to me, but that's what they said. And they said over 80% are on time arriving or departing. Over 80%.
Delta Airlines rated yesterday.
They just got rated number 1.
That's pretty amazing. Well, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
So there's multiple reasons why you would like an airport, but that's one of the best ones. Yeah.
About 80% of the traffic at Hartsville is Delta. And
Right.
Delta just won the award for top performing airline in the country. And I think that has a lot to do with that rating of Hartsville Jackson.
There you go. But I mean, it's just one more touch. So how do you relate that to real estate? Hey, just want to let you know there's many, many reasons to be very positive about owning property and homes in Atlanta now and in the future. Here's another one, right? Our airport is the most efficient in the country, which is this one more piece why business wants to come here, right?
It's important to a lot of buyers how fast they can get there.
Commuters.
Right. There you go. Anything that we can, and once you start coming up with pretty good stuff that people hadn't seen, they will appreciate that and look for that. So we want to get appointments. I talked with a gal yesterday for a long time, and she was talking about how she was at some group. We were talking the same thing, creating leads in business and business development. And she had gone to some function and said, "Yeah, I was talking to these people, or something happened where someone needed her in a real estate need." And I said, "Will you interrupt it?" Okay, it was at a function, right? And she said, "Yes." Okay, and I said, "Well, you might want to play this a little differently sometimes. So if I'm at a function, Christmas party or something, if someone brings up real estate to you, you're probably going to get interrupted, and it's probably not going to be that valid a presentation. So, and it works every time. If you just went, hey Chris, I want to talk to you. This is going to take way more. I want to talk to you 30 minutes or an hour. We're here at this master's party. Why don't we just enjoy that? Give me your name. I promise you I will call you tomorrow at 9. So you're already promising something and you do it. And we will set up a time where we can meet and we can talk about this more at length. Okay, so now you can have private conversation. Okay? But again, we're just trying to get appointments. We need to look at our business as meeting with people. It's just meetings and meetings and meetings. And I would tell anybody, I mean, for new people, I think your goal is if you can get 2 face-to-face meetings a week with someone you're not currently working with, you're going to have a pretty darn good business. For someone like the Martinos, maybe that number is 4 a week. It could be if you're bigger and have a staff that can handle a lot of stuff where you can have more time to lead gen, could be 6 or 8 a week. But you will find if everything is filtered to getting together and just looking for that opening. I think a lot of people in calls don't even look for that opening where you can go, you know what, let's meet, what's your schedule like? I want to talk to you about that for 30 minutes. They'll give you that opening if you're listening for it. And things just happen then. Okay? Should be equal. Should be probably the bigger piece of our business is that we have a lead gen business that is actually causing the number of leads and referrals to happen at the level that we want for our goals. And if it's not, you got to adjust something. That's the bigger game, actually. We do got to, we come to Ignite, we do all that. We need to learn the business, no doubt about it, once we talk to people, but it's the bigger piece of the business. All right, top producers. So we report year to date, we report monthly. This is top producers monthly for March. Very big month. Paid out about $2 million in commission just for March. Continue. Top groups, the Providence Group, number 1. Woo! Becky Wynn Evans Group 2, Alexander Group 3, Joanne Bolt Group 4. Congratulations. 3 or more licensed agents working together there. Teams, 2 and 2 only. RJ and Jim McCarty, number 1. Claudia Bastato and Daniel Polito, 2. Kathy and Tom Florence, 3. Tara and Gary Gaines, 4. Deb and Michael Martino, 5. Top commercial agents. Number 1 for the month, J.M. Scott. 2, Joe Cannon. They're actually tied. Lita Jordan, 3. Rocky Kaufman, 4. And Lisa Wilson, number 5. Congratulations. And top individual agents, I mean, both those top 2 are like crazy. I think they both did over $5 million in just March. So Cynthia Pierce 1, Dan Bangs 2. There she is. Denise McEnany 3. Rachel Poor 4. Wade Morris 5. Jessica Schulte 6. Bob Facella 7. Star Eberhardt 8. Ming Jo 9. Toshma Graves 10. 11 is Virginia Moran. 12 Becky Veal. 13 Fran Morton. Very good, Fran. 14 Kevin Probst. And 15, Martha Freiberg. Congratulations. All right, so it's just like clockwork. She's on her cell, so come on up. Miss Dillon, how is the world of closings and...
So busy, which is awesome.
Good.
Keep those contracts coming. It's really, really busy. I'm Renee Dillon with Ganic PC. Again, I think I spoke a little bit about this at the end of last month. We are already getting really booked up for the end of the month. So if you have closings and contracts coming in, get them scheduled. I know my staff hounds everyone to get closings on the calendar, but go ahead and schedule them. At least get a time slot saved. I know on the 26th, we will always make time for you, but if you want a specific time, schedule early. The other thing, so just a quick reminder on HOA letters. I feel like I talk about this a lot, but I had a closing with an agent yesterday, and we were talking about, and it's an agent that does a lot of business, and She was surprised when I said, oh, the seller pays for the HOA letter. She said, really? So just a reminder, your sellers are going to pay for the HOA letters. We have to have them for closing. It's a title requirement. So the contract, rightly so, in my opinion, puts that on the seller to pay for the HOA closing letter. Also, we do not prepay them ahead of time. We will put in an order with the management company, but the seller is going to have to call in with a credit card and pay for it ahead of time. And remember, they take sometimes 2 full weeks to get these back. They tell us 7 to 10 business days. So a lot of sellers don't want to pay until they're out of due diligence, but sometimes due diligence ends and you're closing within, a week or 10 calendar days. HOA letters, not having them in, is the biggest reason why we cannot get final numbers to buyers and sellers before closing. We have to wait for that letter to come in to get final numbers. A lot of times that is the last thing they were waiting on. So if you have sellers, make sure they're paying for that letter as soon as possible, and that way everyone gets their final numbers and everyone comes to closing with no surprises. Any questions?
Question.
Yes.
I have a buyer that had to pay for the letter because the seller refused, and the seller was an agent. What is the best way for them to get their money back? Because they were like, we won't show up for closing then if you're going to make us pay. They were like just walking away from the deal.
It wasn't that much.
That's fantastic.
You don't want to do that.
Here's the thing. Everything in the contract can be negotiated out. So in that case, that agent just negotiated out paying for that letter.
Even though he signed
But
the
she did
disclosure.
Even though he signed, yeah,
it's in the disclosure that it's their responsibility.
At closing, if I see the contract and I don't see anything to the contrary in it, then if I know that the buyer, if you tell me that the buyer is the one that paid for it. Occasionally we will do the same thing. Don't tell anybody, but sometimes we will pony up the money ourselves to get that letter and just to get it, if we know it's going to close, to get it closed on time, and then we charge it back to the seller. The seller reimburses us. So in that case, I would have the seller reimbursing your buyer for it. Now that doesn't mean he's still not going to dig his feet in and
I was going to
say,
help him go to the real estate commission actually to try to get them.
that's like a whole nother level of involvement.
Well, I was going to give him the form.
I'm going to try to stay out of that.
Who is this person with? He's the broker, actually. He's got his own.
His own guy?
Yeah.
He needs to hear from the
Well,
there's a lot of contractual things that he just ignored through the whole thing.
Well, and that happens.
Like the stipulation that I put on there for.
Yeah.
Because there's a tenant involved and there's no lease, and then, it was a big mess. But my buyer still wanted the property.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that happens sometimes. If your buyer wants the property, it's John Ellison here. We had a closing with John where something similar happened. The seller just wasn't even going to show up unless the buyer paid for this assessment that came in on the letter. So, we craft these contracts to be as comprehensive as possible so that this issue doesn't come up. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get a jerk seller or a jerk agent that totally disregards what's happening and puts you in a bad spot and forces your buyer to pay for something that he's not contractually obligated to do. Yes, Linda.
Sometimes if you offer to pay for that as the buyer's agent, that could come back to you tenfold because your buyer will refer you to other people because you said, look, let me do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it is. It can't be that much.
Oh, yes, it can.
If you're
$1,000. The seller wanted the buyer wanted on specific forms. Yeah, it was.
Generally they are around 150 to 250, unless it's a rush, and then you can tack on another, 75 to 150. So you don't want to, you try not to order them on a rush. But to your point. The one I was talking about with John Ellis, John ended up eating part of this fee, and again, his buyer was so grateful. That's going to come back to him, and it's worth getting rid of the stress in the transaction. A lot of times, if it's a minimal amount, and another commission on another piece of property is going to be more than that HOA letter cost. So you guys are always the smarter, better agents in the transactions, and just follow that through. Don't get caught up in the fact that you have an agent broker that is being a jerk and holding up the transaction essentially. Yes.
Yeah. Can I just ask you something specific? Oh. Does your office ask for the letter, or should the seller be asking for it? Because I have a deal with you right now, and while you were here, I texted the other agents said, you know, remind them about getting that HOA letter, and they just texted me back, oh, I thought the attorney requested that.
We put in, all the management companies have a system where we go in and request the letter. We do that sometimes as soon as we get the contract in. If it has, you know, CMA or whoever it is, you know, when they're opening the file, they'll go ahead and put the request in with the management company. So we have to have the request in first, and then the seller can go pay for it. But
That's
like
what
I
I
said,
just told.
as soon as we find out who it is, we put the request in, just because they take so long to process
Because
these.
I texted her back saying, no, the seller has to go call them now and pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Charlotte.
that is correct.
But we do have a pretty powerful tool as members of NAR. Even if this person that he's talking about is not a member of the Atlanta Realtor Association, if he's a member of any board under NAR, you can tell them you're going to file a claim against them with their board. And that's really the first step we're obligated to do as members of NAR before we go to the Real Estate Commission.
Those one-man shops usually.
And I can tell you, that's a powerful tool, because they can get brought up before the Professional Standards Committee of their board, and nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. Now, about a third of the agents in Georgia are not members of NAR, and you may be hitting one of those people.
RJ.
Yes.
But again, I'm going to be my inner Brad. Don't get so caught up in who's right and wrong. You've got the deal to close. You have to explain to the buyer that yes, that seller offer pad put in a cheap drain. I mean, you know, like in other words, things aren't going to be perfect. And do you want the house? The seller's refusing to pay. And you know, in other words, commiserate with that buyer, contribute if you feel you should, but commiserating with the buyer that we got the house. Son of a gun on the other side, but we got the house. And I hate to, you can spend a lot of time in the weeds going after somebody because they were wrong.
Well, and if you've had problem closings with me, you probably heard me say, you know, more than once that the legal answer is maybe not the right answer in this case. You know, what they're legally obligated to do may not be the right answer if you want this to get closed tomorrow.
So there's multiple choices here. I think Hank and I did this. He had a situation closed last year. They signed saying, hey, we'll reprorate taxes, right?
Yeah.
Seller, it was an estate, said, I'm refusing to do that, okay? And the key, though, is always facts. So, one, going back to the closing attorney, and they were willing to do that, to present in writing, here is where you agree to that. And it wasn't coming from Hank or this side, but it was coming from the closing attorney, impartial person, after weeks of a lot of hand gestures and stuff. He readily gave the money, okay? So I think sometimes a higher presence, the attorney, and even if it's something closed, that is the attorney that they hopefully trust from the closing, and you present the facts, like, don't just say that's in the contract, actually send them, you know, highlighted or outlined. This, you agreed to this. Another angle would be come to me. So a lot of times, there's just agents that, I don't know their relationship with the client, but let's say they're a friend, you don't even know if it ever got presented to the client sometimes, you know? So if you're having this problem, like the one we're talking about now, come to me. I will call the other broker / team leader, and you'd be surprised the success you have when it's their broker coming to that agent or calling that their seller going, sir, do you realize, you know, you don't close, you're going to owe 2 commissions. Amazing things happen there too. I would try both of those, but yes, sometimes.
We both have those conversations.
Yes.
I think all the time.
Right.
You know, 2 weeks ago I was on the phone for 72 straight hours over a deal, but talking to the brokers, you know, on both sides, just letting everyone know. And sometimes another voice just needs to be presented.
I would love to try this one time. Like, who was that just happened with the homeowners thing? I would love to just play along with me here, okay? I'm the agent on the other side. Just
Who am I?
Do this for me. You're the attorney.
Am I the attorney? Okay.
Yeah, I'm the
The role figure, I didn't know. Do I get the broker, the attorney?
No. So I'm just saying, no, you don't have to do anything. So I would call, I'd love to do this. I'd love to call Renee and go, Renee, here's the gig, what's happening. will you do the closing statement $2,000 less? Okay? I'd love to try this one time. And when they come in and go, what the heck? You go, well, we just, we decided you wanted to change the contract. We did too. I'd love to just see, I'd love to try that one time and just go. Since we're not working off a contract anymore, we just want to pay less.
I love that.
Always room for negotiation.
It'd be fun to do. Yeah. Okay, so we.
All right, am I done?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
thank you all.
Key point to remember, though, this is busy time. So we know why people want to close at the end of the month. Literally a third of our business is done probably in the last 5 days of the month because people want to get closer to the end of the month where that prepaid interest is less. Even though truly in 60 days it all comes out in the wash. But if you can explain that to your client, you can get more early mid-month stuff where it's a little calmer. But most people go at the end of the month. So to me, I get something under contract. My first call is the inspection stuff, and the next call is the other agent going, what do you think, 10 o'clock, does that work for your people? Get that on the books or you will get shut out, plain and simple. All right, who we got? Yeah.
I'm just trying to raise my hand for Caravan.
Do you need to run to that?
Yes.
Okay, go, and then we'll get Certainty up here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I have a Caravan in Sandy Springs at 315. You have the sheet on your right in front of you, Skyridge Drive. Please come by. I'll give you a $10 gift card to Chick-fil-A. Bill did those, and I loved it, so I decided that's what I'm giving because I can't do lunch here. It's vacant. Please come by. It's $739.5. That's why I need you. I need some pricing help. I also have 2 listings coming on this weekend in the same area. One is a 4 to 5 master on Main, big pool, huge acre lot, beautiful house, but it needs some help. It needs a lot of decorating, but it's gorgeous. $599. The other one is a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath, master on Main. It's a standard center hall colonial, but it's opened up in the back. It was renovated back in 2013, so it's still pretty nice. We just put fresh paint on, getting a new driveway. That's probably going to be in the around $750. Both behind Downey Country Club. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Sherry, are you Certainty today?
I'm certain.
What do you got?
No, Sherry, certainly. I'll be quick. So no wine and cheese on Thursday. I don't know, because we have the bourbon and beer and barbecue, so no wine. We'll do it on the 25th instead, and I think Brad's our guest.
I am.
Brad is the guest.
Yes.
Yes, cool. So rates are low, and I think home values are high, right? So go look at your previous closings. I'd go back the past 2 or 3 years. And if your borrower put down less than 20%, this could be a good opportunity to get them into a no mortgage insurance payment. And that gives you an opportunity to call them. Like, hey, what's your balance? So if you know the balance of their mortgage, divide that by what you think the property would appraise for. Okay, so we're looking at 80% or better. They need to refi. Okay, that's it.
Rates
Thank you.
today.
Rates are great.
I didn't mean to.
I got in so much trouble. I'm on.
They're free. They're free
It's free, 1%.
It just comes out.
I know. No, rates are really good. They're very competitive. Low 4s. If you've got a client who's looking to lock in, I kind of watch it for a day or so because things are really starting to level out. So it might be a good time to lock in towards the end of the week.
Good.
Anyway, you got a client who needs to do a refi, just get a copy of their mortgage statements. It'd be great for you to reach out to their mortgage lender. I don't want to steal business away from them, but if they don't have anybody that they're using, then I'd be glad to look at that mortgage statement.
It's not stealing, it's earning.
It's a good way for you to reach out to your clients as well. Hey, this property that I got you into is now worth this. you now have 20% equity. Let's
Need
look
some
at
money? Yeah.
Yeah, cash out. That's it. Any questions? No.
Thank
Go
you.
back 3 years.
Right, so that's actually quite a brilliant touch, okay? The best touches are easily, we make people money in real estate, save people money in real estate, make their home more efficient. So who isn't gonna thank you for a call? These are clients in the last 1 to 4 years maybe, buyers that you look back and they did not put down 20%, they had PMI to go, Pete, just calling, you know, you put down 10%, you're paying PMI. Prices have gone up pretty substantially. Just making sure that you've gotten your PMI removed. Have you looked into that? Well, if you actually, they haven't, and you actually cause that to happen, I mean, you're saving a lot of money,
That's
right?
$100 a month.
Yeah, I'm just saying, who isn't going to welcome that call? And it could be the same thing. I'm also looking, your rate was this. I've calculated if you were to refi, even if they put down 20% or over, it's going to save this amount of money. I'm just here to make sure you're aware of this. I mean, it might not be a sale for you, but boy, you go so far up on people's charts when you do one of those 3 things. And making people money, you elevate pretty fast in people's minds. So, listings of caravans, what do you got? Pete, not Pete, Hank.
I've got my 4-bedroom, 3-bath ranch, 659, great schools, great house for commuters to go to the #1 airport in the world. To get on the #1 airline in the world.
There we go.
It's a sexy listing too.
There we go. There we go. Luann.
I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I had a condo coming on in Buckhead, and it's just went on the market. It is adorable. It's updated. It's a 2-2 for $185 in Wellington condos, it's right off of Roswell Road. It has plantation shutters, new stainless steel appliances, and the baths are updated. It's really cute. I'm also, next week, I'm getting on the market a cute house in Johns Creek. It's a 3-bedroom raised ranch. My people bought it 4 years ago, and it was totally renovated by an investor at that time, so it's in really good shape. And they just put on hardy plank, a new architectural roof, and redid the front porch.
What was the price point on Buckhead?
And it's going to be $275.
No, what was the price point on the condo on Buckhead?
$185.
Very good price.
Lorraine.
Got one coming up in Winter Oaks, the Lasseter School District, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, $415.
Nice. Tasma.
I have a renovation in East Lake area. It's a 5-bedroom, 2.5 bath, $259.9. I have a gorgeous 5-bedroom, 5.5 bath executive home in Powder Springs had a price adjustment. They're ready to move at $375. It's practically brand new. And I have a coming soon in the South Fulton-ish area, Master on the Main, 3,000 square feet, right at 3,000 square feet. It'll probably be in the high 200s.
Yeah.
I have a 3-bedroom with bonus, which can be used as a 4-bedroom, 3-bath in West Midtown near Top Golf. No HOA, nice backyard, built in 2005, and it's for $485.
Wow, that's a good one. Good area. I just drove by this weekend. Becky.
Have a new listing coming up on Vernon Ridge, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, brush paint, new backsplash, updated kitchen, $525.
Nice.
I have a buyer need. I have a clients that are looking for a master on Main, but cluster, you know, or very small yard, retired couple. And then their house will be going on the market. If anybody has an investor that's looking, it's going to be in the Spalding Woods area. New roof, newer HVAC, but the entire inside is 40 years old original. So we'll need some work.
Ballpark price?
$350, $375.
Okay.
The houses around there are going up to $1 million.
Okay. Tasma.
I have a buyer need, slightly unicorn. It's not purple, but I need just unicorn. I need right at 200 in the Snellville area, newer or already renovated. If coming soon, please. Ready to go yesterday.
What's a unicorn?
There's not a lot out there.
Right. I have a buyer need, 400,000 in the Smyrna area. They want a townhouse with a master on the main. So if anybody has that.
I have a buyer need, close to downtown Woodstock, 500 budget.
Nice.
I have a buyer need for McDonough, Conyers area, up to 500, want at least an acre.
I would think that's fairly gettable. Felicia.
Rashonda Coleman, this is a disclaimer, this is the only information I have, so please do not ask me any questions. She has a 2-1 condo in Oakhurst coming up for about $175. She has a 3-2 starter home in Lithonia for about $135, and land in Pittsburgh, $75. That's all I've got.
What's the exterior on those?
How old is one? I have a listing coming up soon in Fayetteville. It is a townhouse, 2 1.5. There's only about 20 units in this little small cute little subdivision. It's called Glen Haven. Very close to where all of the filming and the movie industry is going on. There's no rental restrictions. That's why that's important. It'll be listing at $125. Absolutely adorable.
Nice. Johnny.
Yeah, in the West End, we have coming soon a complete renovation. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. It's going to be spectacular. There's an addition. In addition to the renovation, it's going to be out there at 360. And right next door, we have another renovation that is on the market right now. 3-bedroom, 2-bath at $299, and we're working on another renovation right at the entrance to the Beltline in the West End that will probably be on the market at around $390. And we've got 2 more that'll be coming in the West End.
Nice. Hot area. Anyone else? So remember, barbecue coming up. Well, we got these classes coming up this week. I don't think this is accurate. We never scheduled one, but that's okay. But we do have client party on Tuesday. Vendor fair is next Tuesday. So no sales meeting. Again, a good event. You can meet all your vendors. They'll all be in here. Well received. The week after that will be stats. Remember, Good Friday is not this Friday, but next Friday, so staff will be off.
And it starts Passover.
And it starts Passover. Always a good touch for both. And just remember, this weekend we are doing the lobby. So if you're in this weekend, come in this back door. Your key fob will get you in. It'll be complete by Monday.
Great. One thing. I introduced Lisa Sluice, who's our newest agent. Lisa,
okay, so if you have your master entry, put your name on the top, put it up here, right here. You'll be getting an email Thursday with everyone's entry you can follow. Y'all have a good one.